we're back again this week. We had a question from a customer, so I'll do the best of my capability to answer that question. And then obviously we can jump into maybe checking out some more of the newer games on the expansion drive and things like that, you guys. And then obviously feel free to ask questions, all that good stuff, while we're doing our daily stuff on Thursday here. And obviously too, if there's games, things that you want to see playing, just let me know. So I'll wait like a few minutes here, you guys. Let a few more people probably jump on live here. And then we'll get into it. Plus the guys got to do some sanding over there to my left for a minute so they can get some artwork applied. So probably let them do that for a couple minutes here, and hopefully you can get that done and I won't have to yell so loud at you. But we'll kind of maybe just walk around this machine quick just to kind of show you what's up with it, explain a little bit about it. And then, like I said, I'm probably going to hear a little bit of noise for a minute because obviously I don't want to hold those guys up for an hour, to keep the process of your machines kind of going and getting the artwork on and all that good stuff. So give you a quick brief interview here of this machine and do all that good jibber jabber stuff. They're going to sand and then we can get into it, you guys. Hopefully everybody's doing well on this Thursday. Kind of warmed up a little bit. I think we're going to hit like the 50s for the rest of this week and then probably a cool down from there and probably our last little warm spell here. What's up, Green Dog? What's up, SSZJP or 5PF? What's up, Vincent? Cameron? I just have a 50-inch TV on here, you guys. What's up, Peter? It's just a 50-inch test TV, you guys. It's kind of beat up a little bit, so it's just, again, for testing, all that good stuff, but semi-gloss. I'll turn on the lights here. Just our semi-gloss paint. And then went with yellow trim on this unit, you guys. What's up, Loose Cannon? Joe, dealing with scan. Love seeing everybody in here. So we got the yellow trim. No guns on the unit. We got some USBs up front. Kind of just coming around to the right side, you guys. Real happy with the way the paint job turned out. I've been taking over doing the painting and all that good stuff with that. But here's the panel. I don't know if you guys remember the Double Dare stuff, but that's kind of what it looks like the slime up on the top of the panel. Different, kind of interesting. We got a small flight stick, kind of that orange-yellow trackball or yellow trackball, spinner. That beautiful Scantron layout. Shout out to Scantron there. 28-inch active marquee. Cyber acoustic speakers. And then, yeah, like I said, I just have 50-inch LG on here. It's just our test TV, you guys, for these units, because obviously with the Ultimate pedestals, you guys will slap your own TV on there. Looks like Splatoon. Yep, kind of like that. And kind of like I said, it brought me kind of back in the 90s there when, like I said, I don't know if you guys, any of you remember Double Dare or any of that good stuff. I think they tried to bring it back for a while, but I don't know how well it did. So yeah, there's just kind of a little bit of an introduction, kind of what we're working with this week. And then yeah, the guys are gonna jump on sanding again here for a little bit, so you're gonna hear some noise. And we'll get into just the expansion. I can kind of just maybe scroll through so you guys can kind of see some more of the games while they're sanding. Because again, I don't want to be yelling and screaming at the top of my lungs to chat with you guys. So they're gonna do that for a minute, and then we'll be back into it. Again, you guys, I'll answer some of your questions here soon. I just don't want to be screaming and yelling. Yeah, again, I was just waiting for these guys to finish up sanding here. Just because, again, like I said, I don't want to be screaming at the top of my lungs, you guys. Yeah, it's just because I'm coming close to the back of the phone here. So I'll just kind of keep scrolling down the wheel here, you guys, for some of these new expansion games, just so you can kind of get a little bit of a preview of some of the games. Thank you. So yeah, like I kind of was saying in the beginning of the stream here, you guys, we just had a question with some of, I know there's a few of you out there that potentially have more than one spinner on your unit, and things like that. We can get into PID numbers and all that good stuff. I'll kind of walk you through some of that in the beginning here, just because there's a few customers out there that are having a little bit of issues with some of that stuff. I know one of the questions was that, you know, you have multiple spinners, the PID numbers keep on switching when he goes in to play the game. Unfortunately, with some of the spinners in MAME, all the spinners run off the same PID number. And I'm not, again, like a computer whiz by any means. I don't know if there's a way that you can physically change the PID numbers yourself. I'm kind of doubting so in that aspect of things. I know typically when we go to set a lot of this stuff up, and especially in MAME, I know if you have your guns plugged in is the number one biggest thing, and you leave those plugged in, the PID numbers potentially change on you. So again, when you're going into play some of these MAME games and other games besides that, guns will interfere just because we're running so many different emulators on the machine that it's just always so hard to stick those PID numbers and get them to stick with some of this stuff, and especially with MAME, I know. I don't know with the latest rendition of MAME, maybe David can answer that, if that fixes that issue. I'm going to say I kind of doubt it again. But typically, again, when you have your guns unplugged, and I would only, again, plug your guns in when you're going to play gun games. Turn your Wii bar on and stuff when you're going to play your Wii games and things like that. And then when you're done with that stuff, just make sure to turn it off, you guys, is the safest bet with any of that stuff. So typically, if you don't have your guns plugged in, all those PID numbers or your mouse, because they'll come up, like your spinner will come up as a mouse. Your trackball is going to come up as a mouse. And typically, I know, again, when you have your guns unplugged, that should all stick and stay the same. And that's kind of all I really know to my knowledge with all that stuff. Again, maybe some of you know a little bit more than I do. Things like that. Feel free to chime in and, give me some info on that. And I always like to gain knowledge every day and know a little bit more about our machines and all that good stuff too as well, you guys. So that's kind of where we're going to start right at the moment. We're just going to jump into that a little bit and just kind of show you PID numbers and all that good stuff. So hang tight with me. We'll do all that. And then again, we're going to kind of just jump back into some more newer expansion games. And again, if you guys have any questions, things like that, or if there's a game potentially that you want to see if we have and you want to see it played, just let us know and we'll get into it. Yeah, and you can do that too. I know there's people that, put the switchers on for the USBs. You guys can do that too as well. And I know, like, the biggest thing I know with our, like, the Tron sticks, like, they'll interfere with some of those games too as well. So again, if there's newcomers and things like that are looking to purchase one of the machines and want to do that and you're worried about interference, just let us know. We can put a switcher on here to kill that for you when you go in to do all that stuff. We're more than happy to, I guess what I'm trying to say, more than happy to do whatever you need to do to accommodate the things that you're looking to do with your machine. There we go. Spit it out, right? Yeah, I believe, and David could correct me on this, but I believe like for those NES games and that run on a RetroArch, and I believe you will hit F1, but David again could correct me on that. F1 should bring up the RetroArch menu in game, and then you should be able to load your games from there or save potentially. Well, we can check into that and look into that, and I'll see what I can come up with too on my end, obviously. So again, just be patient with some of your guys' questions. I'll try to get to all of it as fast and quick as I can and try to explain as much detail as possible to you guys. Thanks, Cameron. So first thing, like I said, we're going to get into the PID numbers, you guys. So from your desktop here, and maybe I can kind of change the camera angle to be more in the front of the machine. I don't want to like block anything. So again, I'm going to just try to do my best to give you the best viewing angle possible here. I believe we have some sales, but David could, again, answer that question too as well. Yeah, right? All right. So Manila folder at the bottom, you guys. This is just basically going to get you into where the emulators are to set those PID numbers up. So biggest thing, again, for those spinner games and things like that, they're going to be running out of MAME. So we're going to come into MAME here. The controller file up at the very top, you guys. And again, you guys, you can, when this video gets posted, you can rewatch it and zoom in and stuff like that. I don't have a camera guy to help me out. I'm kind of doing this all on my own. So again, like I said, I'm going to try to just do the best I can. So controller file. Those states set by default, but you can use an open keyboard. Okay. Yeah, I was kind of curious. I thought F1, wasn't F1 what brought up the RetroArch menu when you're in game too? So it looks like F2 to save you guys and F3 to load. And it's always a good recommendation, again, to have. I think they're like the Re2. They're just little USB keyboards, you guys. And two, if you want dedicated buttons and things like that, when you order your machine, just make sure to, you know, think of all the stuff that you can possibly think of that you're going to want on your machine, and we will make that happen for you. EHA config. And then kind of from here is kind of what you can see, like what the guns are set at, what your trackball is set at, what your spinner is set at. So just give me 1 second. Usually with like your Tron sticks and stuff, you can't put a PID number in that. I know, like again, like I said, your guns, light guns, are going to interfere with the way your Tron stick and stuff comes up, even potentially, like I said, your spinners. So if you can see here, we're just in MAME. So the top PID number of 5040 is typically for a 4-player trackball. A 2-player trackball is going to be 0420 for a PID number. So your trackball comes up as mouse 1. And then we put in the spinner. So typically just a standard spinner is 15A2, like it says up there. And that's going to be just for like your basic standard spinner that we have. Push-pull is going to come up a little bit different. And I can kind of show you how I look and find those PID numbers. I know you guys, there's multiple ways of looking for all that good stuff. I just know the way I know, and I'll show you how I kind of look for that stuff when I get into kind of doing final programming and testing before your machines get out. So, and then obviously the two other ones, the PID of a 1601 up there and 1602, that's just for your standard aim track guns. And then again, obviously at Gun for IR, Reapers and all that good stuff, that number would change as well. So, and then again, like I said, number one biggest thing is always just make sure your guns are going to be unplugged when you're running MAME games or any other games besides that, because guns will interfere as well with WeBar and all that good stuff. So that's just kind of a rundown of the PID numbers, kind of where to find them. For basically all your MAME, like classic stuff. I know there's a couple other MAME emulators in your file explorer here. So I know there's like a latest build, and I think there's like the latest experimental build. I haven't really messed around with that too much as far as like, again, how it can pull your PID numbers and stuff in there. I know I've heard of that from a few folks, that some of that stuff does that, but so yeah, David's kind of giving you a little bit of input too, how you can set up hotkey options. And again, we can kind of look into that and mess around with that too, and see if I can't navigate and figure some of that out too as well, you guys. So, but yeah, so you have like your latest build I know you can go into, and it's going to be the same thing, controller file. EHA, and I think this is just for some of the newer, possibly MAME games and stuff that have gotten added. And again, David could correct me on that too as well. So, and then same thing obviously for like latest build, you guys. I keep on backing out too far. Same thing for like latest build, you're gonna have that, your latest build, like Golden Tee is typically just gonna be like your trackball, so that's gonna be the 5040 or the 0420, depending on what kind of panel you have. You know, IPAC 4 and IPAC 2. And then MAME IR guns is kind of the same thing again as far as like different gun codes and all that stuff too as well. So that's just kind of a rundown of some of that MAME stuff, you guys. I'm not going to get into the other stuff as of right now. If we want to get more into that, I know I've done it in previous live streams. But if you guys got questions about any of that other stuff as of right now, or in any previous live streams or upcoming live streams, again, just ask questions and I'll do my best to answer them. So again, I'm just gonna go now and show you how to find your PID number, and then we'll jump into a MAME game just to show you some of the stuff in there as far as like where the spinner gets programmed, and your Tron stick gets programmed too as well inside of MAME general settings. And when you're in general settings, you don't want to mess around with too much in there. Typically you can do a lot of the adding your spinner and Tron sticks like that stuff and just input this general for certain games. But I will show you both ways and then we'll get into some of the fun stuff. So again, just this is the way that I find them, you guys, the PID numbers. I'm going to go start bar, settings. If we go to devices and then top right here, devices and printers. I'm just going to back this up a little bit. I come to devices and printers. I think we got up to 2016 MCOL now on Golden Tee, and that will be on the new expansion. Devices and printers. And then you can kind of see here from here, you guys, everything that we have plugged into this bad boy. So you know, you got your Windows, Xbox wireless adapter. You got your spin track, which is typically your spinner. You got your Ultramark Ultra Stick. That's going to be the smaller Tron stick. You got your OptiWiz 3, which is typically your trackball. And then you can see you have like the IPAC 4X, which is the new generation of IPAC now. They must have did some updates and things, so now it comes up as IPAC 4X on the newer stuff. So again, if you're looking maybe possibly for a spinner, if you have a push-pull spinner and things like that, if you just come to here, I typically click, right-click, come to Properties, Hardware, Properties again, and then you can go into Details and select Hardware IDs. And this is for the trackball, so you can kind of see, again, that PID number of a 5040, that is going to be your trackball. So then again, if we came over to our spin track, so this is just our standard spinner, it's not a push-pull spinner. So again, right click, we come into properties, hardware, properties again, details, hardware IDs. Again, you can see that PID number again of 15A2 is what you're looking for the most part of all that. Again, push-pull spinner is probably going to come up different. And all that good stuff from there. But that's pretty much how I navigate to find some of the PID numbers if I can't remember them. You know, I get that old-timer's disease, you can't remember all of it. That's how you come and find it. That's how you come and do it. That's how I do it. And again, you guys might have a different way and things like that, but... So hopefully that helps, answers a little bit of that questions. Again, we're going to just jump into some of the MAME, show you how to get into the MAME input settings and things like that, potentially if you needed to come in there and change things. So we're just going to launch Big Box. I think I can zoom back out, you guys. So again, Arcade Classics is going to be where all your MAME games are going to be running out of for the most part, you guys. So player one start is going to be like your enter, and I'm just going to kind of probably repeat myself with some of this stuff for newcomers and things like that are trying to learn the system. I know we got some customers in here, obviously, that are very knowledgeable with the system and know how to navigate and things like that, but just for the newcomers, I'm just going to kind of explain what I'm doing, how to enter, how to exit, how to get into the stuff. So bear with me, guys. So just say on any one of these games on here, if you're looking to get in the general MAME input settings, which you shouldn't have to do for the most part, like I said, but I'm just going to get in here and kind of show you where some of the spinner stuff is. Because if you program some of that stuff in the general settings, it will come up in some of the games for you as well. But I know with some of them, you still got to go in and kind of input your spinner and obviously Tron stick and things like that. So again, we'll get into that in a second. But just for instance, I'm going to go to Discs of Tron, you guys. Just because typically that uses obviously a push-pull spinner. I mean, we just have a standard spinner on here. But I still like to go in and program all that good stuff, and then your buttons you can use, I know, when you get farther in the level to kind of go up and down to shoot your discs and all that good stuff. So we're going to go with Discs of Tron. Oh, let me get to it. Discs of Tron. So now, again, with any of these, Arcade Classics on the main wheel, any of those, when you first enter into any of there, and before you get in any of the game, if you hit your player one coin, that'll pop up a menu on the right, and obviously that's how you can favorite. Sometimes they got cool things like the user manuals, images, and all that kind of stuff too. If you're always just kind of bored, like to navigate and look through stuff, you can do that too as well. So again, player one coin, you can kind of see now we got this menu up on my right. And then you can kind of see you can play from here too. You could view high scores. Again, there's like the manual. And then you can see there's Open MAME, which that is the emulator that we're using out of Arcade Classics. So again, this is going to open up MAME general settings, which again, like I said, typically you do not have to go into here, but I'm just going to go in here and show you a few things. But for the most part, you don't want to go in here and mess up a bunch of stuff. So player one start again is going to be like your enter. That gets us into here. Now you can use your trackball. Make sure your toggle switch is flipped to the right, because that's going to make your 3 buttons up there by the spinner and the 4-way to act as your mouse clicks. So configuration options we're going to go into, and then from here you can kind of see some of this stuff too as well. Video options, sound options, all that good stuff too. Obviously, if you're more knowledgeable, I know there's some folks out there that like to kind of get in here and mess with this stuff too, but for the most part, like I said, you don't have to. General inputs is what we're going to go into. So typically you have 4 players maximum. You know, if you got a 2-player, you're going to have 2. So typically player 1 is going to be the one that controls all the stuff for the most part, you know, like your spinner, your Tron stick, and obviously if you had multiple spinners, you would go into player 2 and program your player 2 spinner in there, player 3 spinner, 4 spinner, and so on, you guys. But we're going to go into player 1 controls. So then again, you can see from here, this is all just the general inputs. And if you start from the top, up, down, left, right, that is what your player 1 controls pretty much navigate from. And so on from there, you guys. So again, your buttons 1 through 8, typically you're going to have about 8 buttons on your control panel for players 1 and 2. And then 6 for players 3 and 4. But again, I know there's some folks out there like to have that 4-player Scantron layout all the way through, which is awesome too as well. But so you can kind of see here, it's just your player 1 button, your gun button, as far as like your trigger, your mouse click you can program in there as well. And then you can see Joy 1 button 0, which is going to be like your trigger. And if we come down 1 here, you can see button number 2 is here. And then again, if you had the bigger Tron stick, you would have a button 3, which would be the one more to the right, is typically what I do. So again, if you're ever looking to add any of this, you can kind of see down at the bottom, if you hit player 1 start, it is going to completely clear that out. Which I know typically if you do that, and then if you do hold down your shift button in player 2, that's going to be like your exits. Typically if you do it one more time and enter and back out again, it should pop all back up those settings again. I'm not going to go and mess around with that, but just for information for you guys, that's how that can happen, just in case if that were, if you were potentially going to erase all that stuff. But if you're looking to add a button or a Tron stick, if you tap on your player 1 joystick to the right, you can now see at the bottom there, press keyboard 1 to append. So now you're appending. So now you're just basically adding an input. And I will show you that on more like a spinner and stuff. Just again, because I don't want to clear all this out and go through all that right now, you guys. But the guys should potentially already have some of this set up in here. But we'll just double check to make sure they did their job, right? You can see like typically like your dial, you guys, up there, mouse 2, that's your spinner. So again, if I were just to hit player 1 start, again, now it's cleared out. So this is where I was talking about now. Now, if I were to do my shift player 2 and exit, it's going to come up as none, you guys. And then now if I did it one more time, it should kick me back to what it was originally set at, and that I believe that's what it was originally set at, is your mouse X and Joy 1X. Typically that is how it's pre-programmed on this, so it didn't push me back to mouse X2, which again, player 1 start, enter, move your spinner left or right. There you go. Now I got my spinner programmed up in there, and again, make sure your guns are unplugged for all this good stuff, you guys. You might have to, if you had potentially needed to set your guns up, which again, you shouldn't have to because all that is pre-programmed in any of this. But if you had to, you plug in your guns, you do your gun stuff, you back out, you unplug your guns, and then you hook up like your Tron stick and spinner and stuff like that. Hopefully I'm kind of explaining some of this all right for you guys, and you're kind of can follow me a bit. And hopefully it's kind of helping for those that are kind of lost a bit and don't know how to do some of this stuff, you guys. Isn't AD stick usually like your Tron stick too, you guys?
Yeah. Better forgot to do it.
So yeah, it looks like the guys, they had AD stick is still on their mouse. You can see this gentleman's got a Tron stick in here, so we can add the Tron stick in. So again, if you want to tap to the right, we want to append to add the Tron stick on there. We're going to hit player 1 start. And now your X is obviously left or right. Y is up or down. So we're just going to go left. And again, when you have your guns unplugged, your Tron stick is going to come up as Joy 1. That's what it should come up as. And that's what we preset them here to. So, and then again, now 80 stick Y, player 1 start, and I go up. Oh. And potentially I could back out. And it might just add it for me automatically too, you guys. But again, if that were to potentially happen, again, you go up on your trackball. Oops. You can go up or down, up on the trackball. Now it automatically is gonna append for us once we add one. So if I hit player 1 start again, up on my joystick there, small flight stick, whatever you want to call it there. You can see now we have mouse 1, Joy 1, all that good stuff inputted there for us too as well. And then again, if you had, again, another spinner, 2, 3, 4, all that good stuff, you're going to go and do the same things for player 2, 3, and 4, depending on how many spinners and things you want programmed into there. I know some folks, too, have some special spinners, and you can always add another spinner into player 1, 2 as well. So, got our spinner in here. Usually a positional analog 2 is going to be like your Tron stick or your trackball. Your paddle's going to be the same thing. And again, like I said, most of this is already going to be done in here for the most part for you guys with player 1. So you're never really going to want to mess too much with general settings. But I'm just giving you a general idea what's in here. Just to explain it a little bit to those, again, that don't know. And just want to gain a little bit of knowledge, you guys. So we're all set in here. So it looks like everything is good to go in here now. 80 stick, our light gun's in there, mouse is in there, trackball's in there. It looks all beautiful in here now. So again, like I said, I pretty much just come in here and just double check to make sure we're all good to go before these machines go out. So potentially everything is set up and ready for you guys, obviously on your end, so you don't have to worry about any of this stuff. But again, now just say if I had another spinner, and I'm not gonna go into 3 and 4, but just say if I had another spinner on here, you're gonna go into player 2 controls. And MAME is going to recognize that you have multiple spinners, even though they're the same PID numbers. So they should come up as, you know, mouse 1 again is your trackball. Mouse 2 we already have set as spinner 1. And then potentially the next spinner should be, you know, mouse 3 and things like that. So again, dial analog is going to be where you're going to want to put your spinner in. And again, I'm just going to erase it, but there you go. If I hit my player 1 start again is like my enter and spin it to the left or the right, it's going to pop up for me. And again, if I wanted to clear it out, you're just going to hit player 1 start. Your shift player 2 is your exit. And now we have none. So that's all I'm going to do in here, you guys. Like I said, for the most part, you shouldn't have to mess with any of the general setting stuff. Because potentially some of those games that use multiple spinners, you're only going to probably use them in probably a few games, like Championship Sprint, or Off-Road, things like that. But I just kind of wanted to kind of get into that a little bit of detail for those again. So now again, if you wanted to just go into the game, which that's probably what majority of you are just going to do is go in per game, what games you're going to play with those multiple spinners and things like that. Again, Discs of Tron is going to be one that typically people are going to use their small Tron stick and their spinner for. So again, we're just going to hit player 1 start, get this game running. And then from here, you guys, to bring in the in-game menu, shift player 1 joystick to the right. This is going to bring in your in-game menu. I mean, you can go into input general from here too as well. I just do it the other way. But again, like I've said, for the most part, you usually don't typically have to go in there and mess with things, you guys. It's just potentially if something gets messed up in there, or somebody potentially, maybe a buddy or something gets in there and messes some things up, kind of just give you an idea how you could get into the general settings and kind of fix that stuff if you needed to. So input this machine. Now you can see all the inputs for just this game. That's what input this machine is for. So it's just going to be per game now is where we're at. And typically with like discs of Tron, and Tron is usually the things that I'll set up if you have a Tron stick or a spinner. Because outside of that, I don't know what games and things like that you guys want your Tron sticks and stuff programmed to. Obviously, with them being set for the positional analog and all that stuff, games that run off of that, it should pop your Tron stick and up for you automatically. But again, some games like this, you can see it's mapped to our Player 1 joystick. So if we just want to, what I typically do is just add the joystick to it. And then again, I make sure the spinner is in there too as well. Well, yeah, you know, but sometimes stuff just happens, you guys. So again, I'm just going to add, like I said, my Tron stick. So again, I'm going to append. So if I just tap my Player 1 joystick to the right, you guys, you can see now we have append up on there. So maybe I can just zoom in a little more to the screen. There we go. That's probably a tad bit better for you guys. And now you can see append. So now if I go up, I didn't have Player 1 start. All right. Forgot to hit Player 1 start. But you can see now, Player 1 joy up. So joy 1 is your Tron stick. Come down, do the same thing. If I push that to my right again, Player 1, hit Player 1 start. I'll go down. Again to the right, Player 1 start. Now I'm going to go to the left. Again, player to the right to append, you guys. Player 1 start. Now to the right. And then it kind of looks like in here the dialogue didn't stick for us from the general settings. So dial analog, you can just hit Player 1 start, your spinner, to the right or to the left. And then you got the aim up and down, which again, you could change these. Player 1 start. You could make this button your mouse button. And then Player 2 here, you can make your mouse click to. But you could change that to whatever you want it and things like that. Again, typically this game is like a push-pull spinner because you pull up or down to go up and down once you get farther on in the levels. But that should be it for this game. So now, if I hit Shift Player 2, that'll back me out of that menu now. That stuff should save and stick for you. If I do it one more time, now we can get into test. All right, so coin up. Player 1 start. Now we should be set, ready to rock, you guys. I'm going to zoom out just a tad bit. So now you can see if I move my spinner left or right, it moves this across the map here for us. This should control your guy. Top button will be like your shield. And then you can move around, and then obviously the trigger is going to shoot your discs. So there you go. There's just a little bit of an introduction. I know we kind of spent a lot of time on going through that, but I know there was been some questions and things like that. And again, hopefully I went into detail for all you guys and kind of explained some of that for those that are kind of stuck or curious and things like that. So that concludes that part of the live stream. Let's jump into some games, you guys, and get into some of those, and we'll call it a week this week. Keep on asking questions. Let me know if there's any games you guys want to see and play, and all that good stuff. And again, like always, you guys, for those newcomers that are in here, or if you're watching after the fact, if you're interested in an arcade machine, give us a call. We'd love to build you one of you guys. Phone number here is 715-212-8063. You can email us at info@extremehomearcades.com. Obviously, check out our website, extremehomearcades.com. Check out our other good content on our YouTube channel, too, as well. And again, I always like to tell customers it's always a kind of a good idea to check out Machine of the Week videos and stuff like that to kind of get an idea of what maybe machine you're looking at doing or what you all want to throw on your machine as far as like your panel layout, things like that, computer, marquees, all that good stuff, you guys. All right, let's see what games I can kind of find here. Maybe I'll just randomly select a couple. I think I got a couple Xbox controllers over here. Again, I'm not gonna jump into any gun stuff, you guys, with this machine in particular, just because this customer did not get guns with this machine, or possibly maybe he's gonna put on his own guns after the fact. Which is fine too. We have tons of tutorial videos again on how to get into the emulators and kind of do all that stuff, along obviously too with this live stream explaining some of that MAME stuff too as well. So David could chime in on that. I know we had a couple here that are some pretty nice ones. I can't remember where they come out of, like Germany or something like that, because I had messed around with those a while back. That was the first time I've ever actually seen Dance Pad, and had some fun with that, you guys. I don't remember how long ago that was on a live stream I did. Can always look back on and find that one and have a good laugh with us jumping around on those things. So. Poland, there you go. Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was Germany or Poland or whatever, but yeah, I think it's Poland, like you said, Nick. I know they have some real good ones. They have like a metal base and everything. Yeah, they have like a metal base, you guys, and stuff. They're super nice, heavy duty. The only thing too you guys got to remember with that is that you got to go, when you go into those dance games, to make sure to go into the controller settings, and you're probably going to end up having to set some of that stuff up. Just because most people don't get them, the dance pads, you guys. So I can't remember how they are pre-configured to begin with off the top of my head, but it's really not that hard to go in and go into the control settings and do it, you guys. Like I said, if you always find that previous live stream, I think it was a year or so ago I might have done it. I can't even remember at this point. But I think I kind of walked through some of that stuff too as well, you guys. But I can't remember what I had left off from the weeks prior, you guys. So let me just see if I can't even find where I kind of left off. And see if we can't get into a couple more games here. But all kinds of good games inside of here, you guys.
finally returns to the fairway. Easy to learn, yet truly authentic golf fun. Everybody's golf. Hot shots.
Let's try this one. Are you able to use trackball on this one? I guess I'll find out. But again, it's always nice to have you guys show up every week, chime in, all that good stuff. We love our customers, you guys. Again, I always like enjoying learning new stuff for you guys with the machines too as well. I mean, I'm gonna be here about almost 5 years soon and still learning stuff every day, you guys, on these things. So let's just go to single player. I was just curious how this worked. Play a variety of rounds, earn prizes, money, reward. You can do world tour, stroke play, match play, wacky golf, solo round. Here, let's just do a solo round. We'll just, you know, do a couple holes and see where that takes us, and maybe try to jump into like 1 or 2 more games, you guys.
Cheer me on, okay?
What is your Ray of Sunshine? I've never played any of this stuff, you guys.
Let's give it a call today. Golf?
Oh, it's like your caddy, okay. Just kind of wondering.
I'm rooting for you. Go get him, Eileen. Thanks. Woo, woo.
All right. Left or right to position. Hold down A. And press B to tee up.
It's your turn. Go ball!
Oh, okay. The map is up on my right. Normal. Oh, you can change the ball's power. We'll just do normal. How did I do? I'm just trying to figure it out. Oh, of course, I went right in the frickin' water. Wonderful.
You can totally count on me.
Oh, and why you can change how you hit your ball. Gotcha. It's kind of cool. There's a lot of settings in here that you can kind of adjust and play with. Oh, I'm not doing good with getting it, of course, right in the sand then. I'm terrible at this game. Yay! I'm trying to nail it right in that spot. Ooh, I got a nice shot out of that one at least. I didn't even get on the green. What are you talking about? That was a nice shot.
You can totally
Stroke 5 on a par 4. Wonderful. I'm terrible at this game.
deep breaths.
Here we go, a double bogey.
The terrain's perfectly flat.
Nope, missed that too. We're gonna go for the triple bogey.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That didn't quite work out. Wow, that's a high score.
All right, let's see if I can redeem myself on the next hole. Just trying to figure it out as I go here. You guys can laugh at me. All right.
Woo, woo.
Where the flip am I? Well, can I change the club? Or is this a, oh, okay, a par 3. I was like wondering. Where's the tee? Oh, it's off to the right. I don't know. I just want to get it on the green.
Go ball.
All right. Is there a way to preview the hole?
Hey, everything okay?
Hey, leave me alone. I'm trying here. Oh, almost closer that time. Oh, I got on the green. Not bad.
Button time, baby. This swimmer's pretty tricky. Deep breaths, baby. Looks like you're playing uphill.
It's going to be on our new super expansion there, Charlie. And you'll need a Technoparrot subscription to unfortunately play those newer ones.
So cringe. Deep breaths, girl. Relax.
I am trying to relax here. Can I get a par at least?
Ooh, looks like a hook shot. I know it's pretty.
Hey! I can try. Let me try one more hole and see if I can't play it on the control panel. I don't know what the buttons are going to be mapped to, but I can certainly try. It might, I don't know if it might be something that you could do on X input, maybe. Because you have to hit F1, it looks like, F or enter. And I don't know what those buttons are on a control panel right off the top of my head. It looked like button 3 got me to enter.
Woo, woo.
A or D.
You can totally count on me.
Z or X. So that like zooms in. Button 7 zooms in. That changes the view.
Hey, everything okay?
Control to hit the, looks like controller to hit the ball, is what I'm trying to say. So like I said, you might be able to pull this up and run this on X input, and then off the desktop it shows you what like A, B, and X and stuff are, but I don't think this you can use the trackball unless you can get into the controller settings and change that. So button 1 gets you to hit the ball. I know that much.
And that's the vibe. Awesome.
So
You can totally count on me.
yeah, I don't know if there's like again a control settings. And yeah, so here it looks like a keyboard setting. So it kind of doesn't look like you would use the trackball. It's more like a button that you hit, you guys. But you could definitely program this stuff on the control deck. But there's all like the button mapping. I'm not going to go and reassign all this stuff, but I'm just kind of showing you guys. So let's back out of this game. Let's get one more game in, you guys. Oh, And then again, with some of these newer games, you guys, you just obviously have to exit out of the game manually this way versus doing your shift player 2 player 2, shift player 2 for exit.
Enjoy golf. Enjoy.
Let's find one more game, you guys. I think I remember doing Family Guy Bowling like last week. I can't remember if that needs a TechnoParrot subscription or not. Let's see if we can't find one more game quick that kind of looks interesting. Oh yeah, we were gonna look into the RetroArch. So let's do one more game. We'll probably go over just a tad bit on our hour for the live stream this week, you guys, and then we'll check out some of that RetroArch stuff. This kind of looks interesting here. Let's try this one. Let's check out this game. I thought it looked pretty cool. And then we'll just check out that retro stuff quick, you guys, right at the end. So let's fire up the good old Xbox controller, because I'm assuming, obviously, it being a newer title. I'm not going to read any of that good stuff, you guys. Let's just start a run. Start. How do I get past this? Okay, landing. Okay, here we go. I just had to go over. Again, I'm just trying to figure these games out as I go, you guys. So, looks like LT. I don't know what that is, if it's some kind of a shield. Looks like I get a gun as RT. LB does like a dash. Oh, that's kind of cool. It like grabs. B to run or float. Oh, you can go faster. Then obviously it looks like you can go into your items. Oh, and you can evolve stuff and all that good stuff. It's kind of one of those games that you go and upgrade, kind of like almost like a dungeon crawler. And potentially, I don't know if you could play trackball. I don't know, you can't really move forward on your joystick, but obviously it's going to be best played with an Xbox controller, you guys. But graphics are pretty cool on this. Definitely looks like it would be a fun title to jump into, you guys, on the newer expansion and kind of get lost in. Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, so that was the LT. What is this? Hit X. Oh, nice. You can get like upgrades. Chance to summon, follow the game and attacks random enemies. So I think both of these do a chance. Let's do this one. I thought I could activate. No? Oh, you gotta have points. So I don't think I have enough points. Yeah, you need 100 of those. I don't think I have any. It looks like. Just by guessing, you guys. And I believe we're just rocking our base computer in this. So 12th gen i5, 3050, 32 gigs of RAM. I believe that's what's in here. It's kind of cool, a dash. And again, I don't think I have. Yeah, I can't like purchase any of that. All right, there you go, guys. Gatekeeper 1.0. That's what this game is called. Looks pretty interesting. Looks like you could spend hours and hours, obviously, on this one. But that's all we're going to jump into for this week. And like I said, I'm going to get into the retro arch stuff here quick and see if I can't figure that out for those. But I know David kind of explained all that to you, but we'll just jump into it quick for about 5 minutes here and see what we can do, you guys. So I'm going to back out of this game and we'll go from there. So I'm assuming I probably have to go in the emulator beforehand and set that up. That's what I'm assuming. Let's just say you and Super Mario here. Oh, gotcha. Oops. I didn't want to go into that game. I was just trying to go to like a Super Mario game, you guys. It's just in what some of these older titles, like your NES, your Sega Genesis, Super Nintendos, and all that stuff, runs out of. It's just an emulator. So I'm assuming if I hit coin, we're gonna go into Retro Arch, and we're just gonna see here if I can find it. So settings. Change save settings, configuration, I'm assuming like inputs and hotkeys. So it looks like you can enable hotkeys. So yeah, here's like the menu. So yeah, it is on F1. So potentially, obviously, you could change that to a button on the control panel. Because for the most part, obviously, you could, if you had a 4-player, you could maybe do it to one of your buttons up there. Because I know you can play these games too on the control panel too, as well as Xbox controller. So you could always maybe program it to like a 3 or 4. So yeah, right here, you guys. So yeah, there is no load or save state. So again, if you had a little keyboard, I have like an older one, you guys. But again, potentially, again, toggle switch to the right, trackball X is your mouse. Left click is gonna get you in. and right click is kind of like a back button. So left button, middle doesn't really do much. Left or right is like an enter, and then I know like the right click is kind of like a back out. So you can go in here. So you wouldn't even have to bring in the in-game menu, you guys, basically, you know, F1. Obviously, that could get changed to something else because it looks like we potentially have that button programmed to something. So, again, I think David was saying F2 and F3 to load. So, save state, I can click on this. I can hit F2. First, turn my keyboard on. So there you go. F2. So yeah, maybe we want to change the menu on the main drive or whatever to something else then besides F1. So load state again. If I click on this, now I can hit F3. So yeah, I'm just using like a little Re2 keyboard. This is just an older one. I think I need to get a newer one. This one doesn't work that well. I think I lost the dongle to my other one that I had, but there you go. This is all I really have. And then you can plug that dongle in, and there should be usually a hub in the back of your machine or extra USBs where you could just leave, you know, this keyboard plugged in, and you can just turn it on and off to when you want to use it. And then again, if you wanted to, you could change this potentially to something else. I don't know what guide is. Auto, it says. So yeah, just like David's saying too. So like I was saying, for the most part, most of these games are just 2 players. So if you had a 4-player panel, or potentially even your mouse clicks, because I'm not sure how those come up, but so yeah, if you wanted to too, just say if we came in here and I clicked on player 3 over here, it's gonna set it to whatever button I set on my control deck too over there as well. But we're just gonna leave it on F2 for now, you guys. But just to kind of show you how you can get in here and do that. So maybe on our main drives, we just want to set the load and save state up for previous folks. And then again, I don't know what we would want to change. F1. Maybe we could change that to something else in here too as well to bring in the menu. I know when you're in game. But. And then again, I can hit my right click and that'll back me out. I don't think that it should just save automatically for us. Oops. It should just save automatically for us there. I know with some of the, when you go in to do the input mapping in here, you have to save controller profile, but so like right click. I usually go to main menu, configuration, and I just save current configuration because that's just gonna save all the stuff we did in here. And then we can quit. And then now, if I went in here, let's just see how this works. So now let's just get in here. Let's just maybe beat a level quick. And just see how well this works. Because I haven't really, again, messed around with any of this stuff too much. Yeah, right? Just with running all the emulators and everything, you guys, it's always hard to figure out what keys do what. And then, so they don't figure, you know, mess with other stuff, obviously, as you guys are kind of chatting about. Yeah, and see that potentially might mess with when you have 8 buttons on our 4 players because those buttons I know get mapped to, I believe, F7 and F8 for player 3, if I'm correct. Typically here when I set that up, just because again you got so many buttons. So I know for those that have like an 8-player layout and they use those buttons, 7 and 8 on 3, I believe they're set up that way. Because I believe player 3 is F7, F8, and then player 4 is F10 and 11. But again, I might be wrong. There you go. Yeah, you guys, there's just so many buttons eventually when you get to having all 8 buttons on all 4 players. Because typically when I do a layout like that, I get rid of the shift function. And we kind of go back to like the old school where player 1 is like your shift. You hold down player 1 and that acts as your shift is what I do for customers that get all that, just because there's not enough buttons on there. And then if you get dedicated buttons on top of all 4 players having 8 buttons, we have to run into running an iPack too for like dedicated buttons and things like that. Well, let's see here. So I think it was F2 to save. So it says save state to slot 0. So now if we were to back out, and now hit player 1 start. What is the difference between the 2 pedals? Could you explain a little bit more there, Jason Henry, as to what you're talking about between the 2 pedals? So now what if I hit F3? There you go, you guys. Bam. So it just brought in where I left off, you guys. So if I was playing, I needed to go somewhere, appointment, go eat some lunch, do a few things, come back, turn your machine back on, hit F3, and there you go. We're loaded right back where we left off. So there you go, guys. From there, we are gonna shut down the live stream for this week. Jason can reply here quick. We can kind of figure out what he's saying, answer his question. But again, I always love having you guys on every week, chatting away, chiming away, asking questions, doing all that good stuff. Again, thank you to all our customers. Oh, the pedestals. Is that what you're talking about? Maybe it just didn't auto-correct for you there, bud. The Star Wars is 4,000. The other is 3,000. I don't know as far as... All pedestals run the same computers, same drives. I guess I'm not able to look just right off the website, you guys, on my phone as I'm chatting to you. But Jason, give us a call, man. We can chat with you about it here and more. You'll talk right to the owner, David, 715, again, 212-8063. He'd love to talk to you about what you're looking at. Explain probably a little bit more into detail as to far with all that good stuff. But yeah, just give us a call, bud. Because I'm not able to kind of look on the website as I'm like doing this live stream. Otherwise, I would jump into it and give you those details too here as well. But yeah, give us a call. We'd love to talk with you. See what's up, man. So I'll give you a good old sign off, you guys. Again, thanks for joining this week. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff down below. Always love seeing you every week, and catch you next week, you guys. Have a good weekend. Later.